Welcome to Escaping Purgatory, a podcast where we rewatch Supernatural, then talk it through in the hopes we can finally escape this show.
Join us each week, leave comments on upcoming episodes, and together we can escape Supernatural Purgatory.
Hello!
Hi!
We are back with Season 5, Episode 15, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
Oh, I can't say
whatever.
This word. Like,
Dead Men Don't Wear Supernatural Shirt.
Yeah. It could just be flannel. Like, don't wear flannel. Yeah. I'm going with it because plaid. I want to say plaid.
But I think it's plaid.
Plaid? I don't know. I think it brings out my accent like plaid. No, that wasn't. What
A couple of turkeys we are right now. No, silly. So yeah, this episode was written by Jeremy Carver and directed by someone new. And before we started recording, we kind of made a note that there were some obvious directorial things that happened, or Amy pointed out actually. And so we have John Showalter. Yeah, I'm not sure how I like his style.
There were just some odd moments. I think that's what it is. There's like some really strange moments in this. And I feel like because this is the first time Supernatural has done zombies, right? Like, I guess, mainstream zombies, that they were referencing classic zombie movies in some way that I didn't immediately recognize. But I felt like it was a reference because it wasn't things that they would normally do in Supernatural. And I'll point out some examples when we get to them.
Yeah, I think one that also stood out to me, I maybe I'll point out too, or actually I'll say it right now, was when they're in the closet. Yeah. That felt very Evil Dead. Right?
Yeah. I was, that whole like sequence Ash confused me. But yeah, Ash versus like the Evil Dead. I felt that too. I think that's maybe what they were referencing at a few points. Just the way they interact with the zombies. I'm surprised they didn't go more like old school, like, I'm coming to get you, Barbara. Well, they're coming to get you, Barbara. That was the wrong thing, but it's fine.
Yeah. I actually don't know what that reference is from.
So that's, people who know more about zombies going to know that. That's from the Night of the Living Dead. Okay. Like the first like zombie movie.
Where they're like painted blue, basically.
Yeah, it's black and white. So,
okay.
It's all yeah. It's a good one.
It makes sense why the character's named Barbara.
It's such a weird movie. I think this is the one I mean. If you watch it, it's such a weird movie. Like, it's creepy in a way. It's just eerie. Like, it's just... And... The idea you get from it, and it's kind of like, this is why I thought they maybe were referencing, but I didn't really see anything there, was that it's like almost feels like a localized thing in that, like it just happens in that area, like it's a weird like local phenomenon, and then it's just gone. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. I might have to go have a look for this movie. So yeah, just seeing those sort of, seeing a new director is kind of interesting, because obviously from one, I say obviously as if I know, but I do feel like moving on from season 5, we'll see a lot more new directors come in than we've seen before. Obviously we'll have Jensen doing some more episodes, Richard doing some episodes. Misha does one. Like, he doesn't really do many, but he does one or two.
Just one, actually.
Okay. Probably because he didn't want to direct Jared and Jensen.
Not again. Poor man.
He's like, I'll do it again if it's a cast episode only.
Yeah. I'll direct only myself.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see because, you know, we know a Robert Singer episode. We knew a Kim Manners episode.
Yeah.
So moving forward, which director sort of they favor?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I mean, this episode overall, like, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, there are some comedic moments in this to offset the absolute horror of this episode.
Yeah. And what's kind of what kind of bums me out most about this episode is that it is basically a filler episode.
Right? Yeah, it is.
Like, the story really doesn't progress. I mean, you get to meet and sort of see more of Bobby's house and, you know, meet the people of his town. Obviously, we meet Kim Rhodes for the first time, or Jodie Mills for the first time, which is amazing. I think I said this last time, where, you know, the one character they brought back and didn't kill off.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I love her.
But yeah, I don't know. I probably won't watch it again.
No, I don't think so. Like, no, there's not really any. Sorry, all bad. There's not really like standout moments for me, and it's just like sad all round. And then you watch the end of it, and you're like, "Oh, that's a bit of a
It gets worse."
bummer." Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely. It's probably one of the more depressing episodes of Supernatural. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no. Poor Bobby. I'll just say that. Poor Bobby. Poor Jodie.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Sam and Dean are kind of, I guess, bystanders. But that's it, right?
Yeah.
Are kind of bystanders in this episode.
True.
I would say they weren't really needed. Like, I feel like this would have resolved itself with the same outcome if they hadn't been there. Which, I guess, is also part of the end of this episode, like the thing we find out, right?
True.
They didn't need to be there. It wasn't for them.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I guess they prevented 15 to 20 families from getting completely killed. So there's that.
There is that, but I feel like Jodie would have rallied without them as well, though.
Yeah.
I think Sam helped, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So with that, let's get this shit show on the road. Let's get this show on the road, and we can get to those comedy bits and, you know, have a laugh or then have a little bit of a cry, I suppose.
Yeah, do it.
So the intro, I can't remember where the shot of the Impala comes over the hill. I think it's season 1. It's either season 1 or season 2.
Yeah.
So obviously they're going to be coming into town doing something. And essentially it's the introduction of the 3 of the 4 horsemen that we've heard of. So we had War first, then we had some of My Bloody Valentine with famine. And then we had Bobby explaining about the angel of death will be brought into the world of a place of awful carnage. Lucifer saying, "Hello, death."
Yep.
And then we also had Dean, you know, with his like, I don't know why they're harping on this right now. I'm going to guess it's going to become clear, but like his, you know, the fact that he's given up, like, cause they brought up this in the last episode too, where he's like, you know, the world's about to end, and if I don't stop it, you know, everybody will die. And then him saying, "I'm tired, you know, I'm done." And then the horrible, horrible moment at the end of last time's episode, you know, I need some help.
But you're right, though. That didn't really play into this episode. So I guess it's like the theme, right? Of like they're trying to break their morale, and they've almost kind of already broken Dean's.
Yeah, I think also it kind of explains some of the actions of Dean in this episode, like, you know, his hyper focus on Bobby for this episode. Like, he sends Sam away to go fix everybody else, but he's gonna stay with Bobby.
Oh, that's true.
Like, that feels very like, I can't care about anybody else right now. Can you go deal with that?
Yeah. And like Sam even makes like a snarky comment about it, like, fine, I'll just go save everyone else, you know, but it's
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right.
So I think that's the only way I can kind of see it playing in, but at the same time it's like, I guess we're supposed to see, because right now Sam's will is quite strong. So, and we already know that he's going to be saying yes according to Zachariah's future. So maybe we're supposed to be like, oh, actually it's Dean who's going to say yes because he's all broken down, and like it's supposed to, maybe it's like a red herring as to why they keep showing, you know, that he's just sort of, he's done with everything. I don't know. Well, a little bit of a breakdown of it then. Didn't think I was going to do that. So we then cut to somebody in like a trailer. No, we're at a cemetery and we see like the grave, and it's very Lazarus Rising with Dean coming out of the grave. Very much the same kind of shot. We then cut to a trailer and a guy is like watching a cheetah documentary, and I don't feel like we've seen this very often.
No.
But what's happening on the documentary is basically describing what's going to happen on screen. So it's like the voiceover is saying, you know, there's some wildebeest that are lounging, and this guy is just sort of lounging in this chair like a lazy boy, and they're, you know, they're oblivious to the fierce predator. We kind of have seen this zombie man like starting to walk over. And they're he's talking about drinking, and the guy's got a beer and he drinks and all this kind of stuff. The door of the trailer like rattles, which honestly, that's probably my worst nightmare. Right? Like my door just randomly, like being someone trying to just open my door. Like, oh my God, what do you do?
That has happened to me. Like that just triggered a memory for me. So I was on holiday with my family when I was a teenager, and we were staying in like a caravan park, which is quite like I don't know how to describe. It's like like mobile homes, right, in America, but you go to them to like stay in a resort. But also in England, sometimes they can like be a bit rough. So we were all just like sat watching TV, like this guy, and this guy just like, someone had not locked the door. This guy just walked in, right? And he had like a bloody nose. And he was like, oh, some guys like punched me. He was wasted, right? And he was like, some guys punched me. And my mum was like, well, get out, because I'm here with like a baby and like my children, like get out. And it was fine. Like it was just, I just remember it being like weird. Because you're just like, literally like, well, what? This is some guy now. Like here. We were just like sat like together, like sitting quietly, and I was just some guy here. But like, you know, we got like security and stuff, and like he left. But it was, it creeps you out. It's
yeah, for sure. I can. So the guy whose trailer this in is Benny Sutton. So Benny gets up, goes and checks the door and opens it, and there's like a big thunderstorm that's happening, lightning storm. He then closes the door. The documentary continues saying the wildebeest returns wearily to its watering hole because he walks back to his chair. And then suddenly behind him, there's a man like covered in blood. Not covered in blood, covered in mud. And Benny tries to shoot a shotgun, but it's empty. and the voiceover says, "Who are closing in for the kill." When it attacks quickly, and like the man like lunges for Benny and strangles him, and then it's the title card.
I guess like the clue here that I never really noticed before is that the zombie like strangles him rather than munches on down, because obviously like the zombies in this don't turn until later, so this was just like a guy getting revenge essentially.
So for a minute there, I thought the people who were coming back had like motives to come back. So like this guy was killed by his so-called friend.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if we do get the story of Jodie Mills's son.
Yeah.
I just don't remember what it is right now.
No.
So like maybe he felt like, you know, his parents didn't protect him, so that's why he came back. Obviously Bobby had killed his wife.
Yeah.
And there was something about the Ezra Jones as well. There's like a passing comment that made me think of that. So I'm wondering if it was just like I said, people who had a reason to come back and like turn eventually.
Yeah, I think so. Like, it makes sense. But
that doesn't get explained.
It doesn't get explained. And equally, you could also say that the people who came back all had, like, people who loved them to make it, like, extra terrible. Because they all did, right? Like, Clay had a family. Obviously, Karen's got Bobby. There's Jodie's son. And then even the older woman, is that Ezra, had her husband. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. But, again... not explained.
Yeah. Carver has a problem with that. Like, I always come back to Yellow Fever, as much as that episode like has some really good moments in it. The actual episode itself makes absolutely no sense, and so does this one.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
And the only reason why it kind of works is because they have death on their side, so he can kind of basically do anything that he wants.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. It's kind of a get out of jail free card here.
Yeah.
You should watch Doom Patrol. Like, it's good. It makes zero sense. Like, I actually really like it, but I'm watching it like, what is going on? Like half the time.
I mean, maybe the source material is like that too. That could also be it, but
True.
I don't. Who knows? This had to be made up, so...
Yeah, exactly. So, we see Sam and Dean arrive at a diner, and Sam's trying to ring Bobby, but he's not been answering his phone for days now. Because Dean says, like, he's still not home. How far could he get in that chair? It's rude.
Very. His arms still work.
Yeah, like, he can go. So they've decided to take this case on themselves then. They sit opposite this guy at a table who says, "Call me Digger," which I love this little exchange, because Dean's like, "He gave you that name?" He's like, "I did." And just like, yeah, make up your own nicknames. Be the person you want to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Dad made you queen.
I love that. I don't know why. I just thought it's really funny.
Yeah.
So they talked to this guy because he saw Clay Thompson, the zombie guy, climb into Benny Sutton's trailer through the window and then came back out again, and Benny's dead. So like clearly he did it, but he's been dead for 5 years. So how did he do it? And they sort of like go back and forth about it's definitely the guy. And he's like, yeah, it's definitely the guy. And also, like, he had beef because Benny killed him. He shot him in the back in a hunting accident. So, and, like, this guy, like, Digger, is just like, well, yeah, I guess he just came back from the dead to get revenge. Like, what's weird about this? Like, I love this guy. I love his energy.
So, the thing that makes me kind of laugh about, like, thinking back on the episode, there are a lot more people that are out now zombies.
Yeah.
So that's probably why he's so nonchalant about it, because everybody in this town has seen a whole bunch of dead people just walking around.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, yeah, dead are back. And what?
Yeah.
So then we see Jodie Mills enter. And we were saying this before as well, like, Kim Rose looks so different in this episode to how I know her now. Like, she looks great all the time, so... But she looks, it just, I don't know, there's something about... it's just really different. It's the hair.
I think I know what it is. Yes, it's the hair. Because she has dark hair in this, whereas now she has, like, light brown, blonde hair. So it's just like... changing your hair color changes your face.
That's so true. That's very true. Yeah. So she's talking on the phone, and you can tell she's talking to a child because she says, like, put down the cupcake and pick up an apple. Okay, like, love you. Digger said, heads up, Fargo. I didn't know Fargo was like slang for the police. I know the show.
Right, that's what it is basically.
Yeah.
So Fargo was a movie first, then it became a show.
Ah.
So I think that's what he's referencing.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because they're also in South Dakota. So.
Is that where Fargo's thingy based?
Oh, is it north? Is in one of the Dakotas. I'm not sure if it's north or south.
A snowy one. I know that much. I've watched enough of Fargo to know that.
They're both very snowy.
I don't know. Look, cards on the table. I don't know where North or South Dakota is. Could be East Coast, could be West Coast. My geography is just not very good.
Well, it's in the middle. And the north borders Canada.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate having knowledge given to me. Anyway, Sheriff knows Digger. He's like a known criminal, so they're like, hi. And she introduces herself to Sam and Dean, and they say they are agents Dorfman and Niedermeyer. That sounds better.
Niedermeyer, yeah.
From the FBI. And she's suspicious of them immediately. Like, why are you talking to Digger? Like, what's he done to the FBI to speak to him? And, you know, she's questioning them. Again, like, you're right. On a rewatch, this makes more sense. Like, she's already seen someone come back from the dead. So she's instantly suspicious of them. Like, I mean, why the FBI investigating, like, a guy coming back from the dead? She's clearly trying to get them off the trail of her son and the other people.
Yeah.
I love this as well because Dean is so... I don't know why. He seems to like take an instant dislike to Jodie here, which is so funny when you see them later on, like, being sweet together. Mm-hmm. So she wants to talk to their supervisor, and Sam hands her a business card. So she calls it, and we see Bobby's phones all lined up, and he answers the FBI one and says, Agent Willis. And Sheriff Mills just goes, Bobby? I don't... Jared, I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's the
best moment.
This is so good. Because he's going from, like, looking at the table to just, like, the slowest look up, like, oh, no. It's so good. Like, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch just that moment. Because Dean's just sat there like, yeah. But Sam has a full-on reaction of, oh, my God.
Like, give him all the Emmys, give him all the Oscars just for this slow, like, this, like, instant realization. And, like, it's... I guess because Dean always got in trouble, so it was like, this is Sam's first time really being caught by actual authorities. It's perfection. So I'll give John a pass for just this moment for this episode.
Yeah,
not John Winchester, but John Showalter.
Yeah, Like,
Walter.
direction was good on this. Like, it made me laugh out loud. Like, it was so good.
Yes. Yeah, me too. Oh, it was a perfect moment. Perfect. Chef's kiss.
So Bobby's there on the other side of the phone like, what? And Jodie's just like, is this Bobby Singer? And he's like, no, I'm an agent of the FBI. And she just goes, bull crap. And so Sam realizes that it's not going to work. So he just says to Jodie, like, oh, do you know Bobby Singer? And Dean says, that's a fun coincidence.
Here's what I know about Bobby Singer. He's a menace around here, ass full of drunken disorderlies and mail fraud. You understanding me?
I thought this was interesting because over several times in this episode, like, Bobby's referred to as like the town drunk, but we never see that side of him in Supernatural. Like, he has a beer every now and then with the boys. But what I think it's alluding to is probably after Karen died, he was just like a mess. Right.
And also it's probably for a way for them to explain his weird research.
That's true.
Right? Like, Bobby's the one who's going to be telling them about monsters and, you know, that actually exist. Well, how do you explain that away? Well, he's a town drunk.
Well, yeah, because, you know, if he's coming into town, like, I can't see Bobby doing this, but I can also see him just bluntly telling people that, like, ghosts exist, like, at a bar. Like, he'd be one of these, like, people that you get talking to while you're, like, having a drink, and he'd be like, yeah, you know, I hunt demons. Okay, sir, yeah.
And, like, you would have all the kind of weird hunters passing through, right?
Yeah. So he definitely looks shady, right?
Exactly.
So Jodie basically says, like, you know, whatever you guys are planning, like, it stops. And she's very authoritative about it. And Dean just agrees with her, like, yeah, all right, fine. We then cut to Bobby's house, and Bobby looks different. Like, his hair is combed, and he's not wearing his hat. Which, again, like, I wonder if the hat must have been, like, a thing that he started wearing, maybe, like, after Karen.
Yeah, and I guess it's also, like a show of respect, right? Like, you don't wear your hat inside.
Yeah.
But when it's just you, like, who cares?
Again, yeah. And, like, his house just looks brighter and cleaner as well. Dean starts this conversation saying, like, well, where have you been? Like, we've called you so many times. And Bobby just said playing murder ball, which, if you've never watched, is worth a watch. It's basically like wheelchair rugby, and it's badass. Like, it's a really good sport to watch. They don't have it on TV enough. They should have it on more. And then Dean says, like, what's that smell? Like, is that soap? Did you clean? And Bobby's again, like, really defensive and says, like, bite me.
Trying to find a way to stop the devil? Find anything? What do you think?
Bobby, it's just... There's a case less than 5 miles from your house.
And then he dismisses it. He's like, well, I know about it. Like, Benny Sutton, yeah, like, and the witness was Digger Wells. Like, why are you believing these people? You know, like, he's a drunk, which is what they said about him. And they're like, you know, well, there were lightning storms as well, like omens. And Bobby's like, yeah, but it's February in South Dakota, so. And he says, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. He reiterates that, like, Benny Sutton was just, like, a bad dude. Like, no one liked him. So there were lots of people who were out to get him. He wasn't necessarily a zombie. And he's just like, you wasted a tank of gas on this one. And so they leave. They are actually driving out of town as well. They are, like, taking Bobby on his word when they pass the cemetery where this guy was, like, risen from the dead.
Yeah, so what? Bobby already checked it out.
Man, what, Bobby's never wrong?
It's funny because Dean's the one who's questioning Bobby. Sam's like, well, he looked into it. Like, let's just go. Do you think... Oh, no, see, because Sam is, like, suspicious of father figures. I feel like it would always be the other way around, that Dean's like, you know, Bobby looked into this, whereas Sam would be like, no, well, let's check it out. But also, Dean's been let down many times before by many different fathers.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe because like Bobby's explanation just really isn't that good. Like he doesn't really explain away. Just calling somebody the town drunk isn't good enough, I guess, for him, which makes sense because, you know, you look at Dean's history with alcohol, he would be considered the town drunk if he lived in a town.
Like,
so, yeah.
You're right, he's too dismissive. You know, I didn't think he showed them enough to convince them.
Exactly.
So they walk through the cemetery and they find Clay Thompson's grave, and the dirt is disturbed, like it's clearly fresh. So they go digging. What? I don't know why I like this so much, but like Sam's digging the hole, and like he takes the last shovelful of dirt out, and he goes like, ugh. And I'm like, that's the last shovelful. Like that's surely the easiest one, right? Like what?
You would think so. Yeah. I will say that transition that they did for that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was nice actually. So yeah, they get down, coffin's empty, as we know. It looks like it's been smashed out of. Like, yeah, it's gone.
What is going on here?
I don't know, but something stinks.
Like, I guess referring to Bobby's now clean house. Like he's really saying.
Oh, I was thinking more like you did open a 5-year-old like coffin, so it would
That's
stink,
true.
but okay.
Yeah. So Sam and Dean break into a house. I'm reading now, I was like, whose house is this? Like I couldn't.
Oh, it's the same thing, yeah. Because Clay Thompson is covered in mud the first time we see him, and then it's like a printout of a driver's license, so you never really get to see his face. So when you look at all these pictures, I'm like, you're just breaking into some random man's house. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like I thought like maybe it was like Bobby's house again. I was like, that's not the layout of Bobby's house. Like, where are you? It really didn't make sense for a second. But we see someone like watching them as they're breaking in, and then eventually like a man like attacks Dean. It's Clay Thompson. And then he goes like, please don't shoot me, please don't shoot me. Like, take the money, it's in the safe. Because he thinks he's being burgled. So they question him, he's clearly not an aggressive zombie, he's just a guy. Though
yeah, just a dude.
I watched this on my like television. The makeup is a bit much on the people who are zombies in this. Like, they look very pale, which they've done intentionally, but I feel like maybe the transition to HD, like it's not worked very well because they just look like they're wearing like real thick stage makeup. It's not great.
Yeah, I was wondering what felt off about Karen, and you're right, it is probably because of the HD switch.
Yeah, it probably looks better on like a crappier TV. Let's be real, like. So
Yeah.
he's like, Sam and Dean claim the FBI again because they clearly seem to be interrogating like just a dude. And Clay admits to killing Benny. He's like, oh, this is about Benny, like I killed him, like just arrest me. But he did kill me. And so they're like, but so you're just saying that he killed you, so you're dead? It's a very confusing conversation.
So you are, in fact, the dead guy.
I guess. I don't know what I am.
Then his wife comes in, like just in her like dressing gown, and she's called the police because they're being burgled. And this guy Clay, like, I don't know, maybe you can see how he like fell in with Benny Sutton because he just seems to be very gullible. Because he's like, it's okay, honey. These guys who broke into my house, they're the FBI.
That's very true. Yeah.
So they arrest in inverted commas, like this guy Clay, and they take him outside. As they go out, Sam's like, Dean isn't like, what are we gonna do? And Dean's like, well, he's a monster. And Sam's like, he's a soccer dad. And they're sort of not sure what to do because, yeah, he's just a guy. Then Jodie turns up and she's clocked Dean like taking the safety off of his gun, sort of behind Clay's back. So she's like, drop your guns! So they do. And they have again this whole back and forth of like, look, here's the guy, you know, the dead guy who you said couldn't kill anyone. Like, here's the guy, like, he's a zombie. And Jodie's very much like, well, no, you can't. No matter, it doesn't matter what he is, you can't shoot him in the street. Which is very Jodie thing to say. I feel like just because they're a monster. Dean gets handcuffed.
You're free to go, Mr. Thompson.
Free to go?
I can't believe you were going to kill me.
You're a zombie.
I'm a taxpayer.
It's completely like topsy-turvy land. Like, his brain is imploding with like, but like this guy, like, and I feel like I don't want to be the same. Like, this guy is clearly dead. Like, he's clearly dead. Like, look at him. He killed a guy. Like, why are you? Yeah.
Why are you protecting him?
So yeah, they got arrested. They're in their jail cell in the sheriff's station, and are confused. Like, Sam and Dean are talking amongst themselves. Like, the sheriff's in on it. Like, what's going on? Like, she's getting paid by like the zombies. And then they see Bobby come up, and it's so funny because he comes to talk to Jodie, and then they both sort of like look at Sam and Dean like idiots. and again, like, Dean's like confused because like, well, they're friends now. Like, what is going on? It does seem like a big conspiracy at this point. So they leave. Bobby clearly bailed them out or like convinced Jodie to let them go or whatever. Sam says, well, you know, Bobby, I thought the sheriff hated you. And he said, well, she did until 5 days ago. And it's like, well, what happened 5 days ago? Oh, yeah, like the dead started rising all over town. So Bobby knew the whole time.
Yeah.
And Dean's pissed because Bobby lied to them. And he's like, well, you know, no, I didn't lie. I told you there was nothing here for you. You know, nothing to hunt, essentially.
Right.
And Bobby says there are zombies, and then there are zombies, and then says, like, come with me. And he takes them back to his house. And they all walk in, and this lady walks out in, like, almost like 1950s housewife get up. Like, she's wearing, like, an apron and things. And she's like, oh, you know, you should have said if you were bringing company. It's 4 a.m., but she's still awake, like, cooking and stuff.
Who was that?
Karen, my wife,
Your new wife?
my dead wife.
I feel for Bobby in this episode. Like, I just, it's a bad situation all round.
Yeah, definitely. It's a ploy, and it seemed to almost work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we come back from the break, and Dean is eating pie because there is pie in front of him. And with his mouth full, he says, "This is incredible, Mrs. Singer." And like, Sam looks over and sort of gives him a look, and he's like, "What? It is." Every time I see him eating pie, though, I'm like, the pie is a lie. And it kind of is in this episode too.
Yeah.
Bobby asks Karen to like give him a minute so they can talk, and as soon as they leave the room, like, Dean and Sam like push their pies away and like lean into Bobby and like, "Are you crazy? What the hell?"
It's pretty good.
And Dean's like, explain what? Lying to us? Or the American zombie girl making cupcakes in your kitchen? Bobby does not like the disrespect of that, which is fair. And, you know, Sam points out that whatever that thing is, it's not your wife. And Bobby's like, how do you know that? Bobby has really rationalized all of this. Like, I mean, of course you would. But he said he did all the tests. You know, there was no scars, no wounds, no reaction to salt, silver, holy water. And Dean's like, well, she crawled out of her grave or to her coffin. And Bobby's like, no, she didn't. I cremated her. Somehow, some way, she's back.
This is interesting because they don't mention at any point, it's like, but Dean, you came back from the dead too. Like, there's a reason why Bobby can rationalize this. Is because, like, Dean did it. And it was angels, but how do they know that this isn't angel? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's no way. It's hard.
Yes, that's true. But also, if you think about it, Dean coming back was not actually a good thing.
Ooh, that's true. Yes, that's true. Because, you know, the apocalypse.
So it's not anybody coming back from the dead. I mean, even Sam coming back from the dead, not a good thing.
No.
So the thing that made it easier for Dean to come back is because, well, one, it was like 6 months, and two, they didn't burn his body.
Yeah.
Sam buried it because he wanted to get him back.
Yes.
So yeah, Bobby had cremated her and was in the same cemetery as everybody else. And he says there's about 15 to 20 people, and that includes Karen, Clay, and Sheriff Mills' little boy.
And there were no signs? No omens?
Well, there were the lightning storms.
And he's like, that's what we said. Like, come on. Bobby reads from the Book of Revelations. And through fire stood before me a pale horse.
And I saw, since he had risen, they too shall rise, and from him and through him.
Dean's like, so death's behind this. And Sam's like, death? Like the Grim Reaper death? And so now this is my favorite line.
Yes.
I keep saying that, but so Dean says, awesome, another horseman must be a Thursday. I'm so glad that me and Jeremy Carver are on the same wavelength. Everything bad happens on a Thursday. Everything bad
including
happens on a
new
Thursday.
episodes of Supernatural, which I think is this really funny meta joke. Like, I can't remember if at this point in time Supernatural was on Thursdays, but for a long time it was. So I just love it. Yeah.
I didn't even think about the meta of that, but yes, yeah. So Sam questions why this is happening, and Bobby's like, I have no clue. And Dean points out that if death is behind this, then whatever these things are, it's not good. And you know what we have to do. Bobby then, I don't even know how to explain his like tone of voice, but he's just like, she doesn't remember anything, She doesn't remember being possessed, me killing her coming back. And Bobby's like, don't Bobby me, just listen, okay? And explains that she used to hum when she cooked. She couldn't hold a tune, but she used to do that. And I thought I'd never hear it again. Just, look, just read Revelation. The dead rise during the apocalypse. There's nothing in it that says that this is bad. Maybe this is the one good thing that comes out of this. So it's like, no, Bobby. Never is. And Bobby just like pleads with them to like leave it alone and like let it be. Or leave her be. They then go to a diner, I guess, because pie wasn't enough.
And like it's maybe just like awkward being in Bobby's house.
Yeah, with a zombie. And Sam asks,
So what do you think? Something to think about. Not gonna leave Bobby at home with the Bride of Frankenstein.
the way Sam talks in this, the way both of them talk, it's kind of insensitive. It's like, we're just going to blow her skull off. Like, whoa. Tone it down there, Sam.
Right.
Sam's going to find out what else he can find out, basically.
Yeah.
And back in the salvage yard, I guess he doesn't want to be inside. I don't really know why, but Karen like just appears next to him, and she's like, "Oops, did I scare you?" It's like, "Hell yeah, you scared me." Popping up like daisies, no. And she offers him some lunch, and she says it's more pie, and he says, "I don't think Bobby wants me inside right now," and she says, "I guess we'll keep it our secret." Across town, Sam is looking into the house of Sheriff Mills, and she sees her and her husband, which I forgot she had a husband actually, reading a book to their son. And then back in the kitchen, Dean eats another piece of pie, and he's like looking around, and there's a lot of pie around. Where I guess that's the only thing Bobby's been doing is going to like the supermarket and getting like ingredients for apple pie.
Yeah. There's clearly like something not right. It's just off. Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Since I got back, I can't stop baking.
When do you have time to sleep?
I don't. Must be the excitement.
Or being dead?
Karen is very aware for somebody who would not have known about the supernatural when she was alive. Because she says, that's why you're here. You're keeping an eye on me. I know who you are. Just like I know Bobby's not the same mild-mannered scrap dealer I married. You hunt things and I'm a thing. I get it. Dean says, so you know that I'd never let anything happen to Bobby. he's like a father to us. And she's like, well, I'm glad, like, you know, he's lucky to have you looking out for him, but you're not the only one. Presuming that she's looking out for him is like, yeah, but you're only baking pie.
Yeah, but she's also like, because she goes on to say that she's like keeping the truth from him, so that's also protecting him.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm gonna give Karen the credit here because she does look out for Bobby in this episode. I feel like I think she's trying to do her best with what she has. Like, it's almost like she's stuck in like a loop of things that she did in life.
Yeah.
And maybe like Bobby used to really like her pie, so she's like, well, you know, I'm going to do what I can for him and make him his favorite thing. Like, it's odd, but she's clearly not completely like, I guess, like fully human, I think, because she seems to be stuck in a time period. I don't know.
She says that she guessed that Dean has never been in love. He's my husband. My job is to bring him peace, not pain. I was like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, they're like, Dean not being never having been in love is an interesting thing to say to him, because Dean definitely does love people. Like, he loves Sam. He loves Bobby. Like, they said he's like a father to him. Like, he loved John in his own way. I guess I suppose what she's saying is like being married to someone's different, but I feel like he made.
This kind of gets explained in the next part.
Yeah, you're right.
So we're then outside of a house, and Sam is looking for Mrs. Jones and Ezra Jones, and there's this old lady lying in bed, and she's obviously very, very sick. Like, she's got sores all over her face, and like it's really gross looking. And she's like waving him closer, and Sam's like, I don't want to do this.
He's so aware.
Like, do you think you could tell me from here? And she's like, keeps beckoning him closer, and eventually he gets really, really close, and she dives for him, and they have like a back and forth. As he falls back, he sees the bloody remains of her husband, and like, it's so gross. I hate the
phlegm.
Whatever white substance. Yeah, that comes out of her mouth and like lands on his face, and like he manages to like headshot her, and like it collapses. I'm like, I would have rather have seen the blood splatter across his face than just that white foam.
Grim. Can't be dealing with the bodily fluids, man. I'm like,
yeah, blood, fine. Brain matter, fine.
Phlegm, no.
Spit, saliva, or
no,
mucus, no thank you. Like, just seeing someone sneeze is gross enough.
No, can't be. Oh, no. Just thinking about something gross. Yeah. I feel like Sam gets a raw deal in this episode. I feel like the focus is on Dean.
Oh, yeah.
Sam has not only like dug the grave, right? He had to do that all. It looked like he did it all by himself. He got spat on by a zombie, which is gross. And then like he goes and like has to go save the whole town while like Dean's like fanning about,
having a midlife crisis.
Anyway, so Sam and Dean go back to Bobby's to explain that Ezra went full zombie, you know, like nam nam nam. And Bobby's immediately like, keep your damn voices down, like Karen's upstairs. So it turns out that this Ezra woman was the first person to come back. And so, yeah, the first one to go bad. They call it turning in this, which is a classic zombie reference, right? So people turn.
Yeah.
And Bobby just says, oh, you know, well, she was always a bit strange. Like, no, Bobby. Bless him. And Dean's like, look, you know, I feel for you, but you've got to acknowledge that you're not exactly seeing this straight. And Sam says, like, Bobby, whether you admit it or not, these things are turning. We have to stop them, all of them. Which Bobby then pulls a gun from like under his butt in the wheelchair. I guess like that's where that is.
Just somewhere.
And this is like time to go. And I just thought this is the Bobby that pulled a shotgun on John Winchester. Like this Bobby. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
also
yeah, God,
it's Dean getting rejected again for like his parental figure rejecting him for a wife or a loved one.
Yeah. You're right.
And it's so like maybe it's hunters, they're just like kind of selfish. Because after everything, this is exactly what John did to them, especially Dean.
Yeah.
And he's, turning around now and threatening to kill them for his wife. I was just like, I don't like this, John. Don't like this, John. But I also don't like this, Bobby.
It's like the shock on their faces, I think, is hard to watch. They're like, really? They even say to him, like, what? Like, what are you going to... Like, it sounds like you're going to shoot us? Like, really? And Bobby's just like, well, I'm going to handle this my way. Like, I don't need you. I think that's the hard bit as well for them. Like, oh, I don't need you to help me. Mm-hmm. Where they always go to him for help. So they would expect to give it in return.
Right. Yeah.
And this is also something that they can help him with almost in like a detached way. Like they don't know Karen, Right. It's hard because like she's Bobby's wife, but they don't know her. So they could help him, deal with this without all the emotion involved. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Bobby runs them off his property, essentially, saying that he's going to handle it. And when we get back in the Impala with Dean, like, Dean's mad. He's like, he's crazy, like, it is almost like a little boy, like, being rejected, like, this is stupid, like, it's not fair, like, why are we being sent away? Mm-hmm. Whereas Sam's a bit more empathetic, like, oh, it's his wife. And I guess you kind of understand because Sam did have, like, the whole thing with Jessica and, like, if she'd been brought back, I feel like he's more empathetic towards Bobby's position. Mm-hmm. Whereas I guess Karen was right. Like, there's no one really like that for Dean. Like, he doesn't really have anyone that he would be this protective over at this point if they were brought back. Yeah. Not even John. Mm-hmm. Like, if John was like, here is a zombie, he'd be like, shoot him.
It would literally the first thing he would do would just pull a gun out and shoot him in the head. Yeah,
because it would be weird. Like, and it would be sad, and they would have like man emotions about the man emotions. That's really bad to say. They would have feelings about it, but they wouldn't question that it wasn't right.
He's crazy. It's his wife, Dean. So he goes full metal jacket on us. We're his family, Sam.
Which I like that they're acknowledging that as well in this episode. Like, yeah, we're family. Mm-hmm. Sam's like, okay, right, but this whole town's gonna turn into zombies if we don't do anything. And Dean's still, like you said earlier, like fixated on Bobby. Like, yeah, Bobby's making pie with one of the zombies, and there's the zombies in the town, but like Bobby, and it's like,
which kind of brings into question his little speech that he had with the therapist, and Sam interrupted, like, I'm the one who has to save everybody on this planet. But in this instance, he's not trying to save the whole town. He is literally just trying to save Bobby. Yeah. Like, Sam is the one who's pointing out the bigger picture in this situation. Maybe this
is why they had like him kind of giving up in the like teaser trailer bit of this, like, like the prequel. What am I talking about? Mm-hmm. The recap. Yeah, in the recap of this, because maybe Dean's starting to realize that he can't save everyone, and so why not hold on to the bit of the world that he has, which is Bobby and Sam, right? True. Mm-hmm. And also, like, it's Bobby, man. I'm with Dean on this one. I'm like, it's Bobby.
The thing that I can't get over, actually, just thinking about it now, They don't call Cass one time in this episode.
Right, no, I thought it the whole time I was watching this. I was like, this is the Horseman episode, where's Cass?
Yeah.
Like,
where is Cass? What is he doing? We don't know. Is he still looking for God? I don't think so.
yeah,
What's their excuse
that's
now?
the whole excuse, isn't it? It's like, oh, I was looking for God. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, sorry, I couldn't help with the zombies. Looking for God, man. Like, yeah.
Like, they don't even call him. Maybe I don't know how are Bobby and Cass. Maybe he doesn't want to see Cass after Abandon All Hope. I don't know.
But they also know that Cass can literally see Reapers, so like he would have been very useful in this episode. Like,
Yeah, that's
generally,
true.
like just to have.
Yeah, I guess that's the problem with having an angel on your side. Like, everything can just easily be
That's why
dealt with.
we constantly like. Cass was away doing something else. That's why he couldn't just smite everyone in this episode, and he could sing and dance into the
Yeah.
sunset. Yeah, I thought it too. His absence is notable in this episode. Like, you're constantly thinking, like, why don't you just ring Cass and ask what's going on? Like, as soon as you see like a zombie who's like acting like a normal guy, it's like, oh, maybe I should bring the angel that we know. Like,
Yeah.
also, the angel that brought you back from the dead, like, maybe he would know about the people being brought back from the dead. Like, it's just
Yeah, like, I guess Cass isn't linked up with Heaven right now, so he wouldn't know if Heaven has a plan. But still,
he knows a thing or two about
Yeah, very
resurrection.
strange.
Like, you might know. So yeah, Dean decides that he's going to go back and check on Bobby, and Sam's like, why? He's going to kill you if he sees you. But Dean's like, no, I've got to go.
I'll head to town and rescue everyone. Should be easy.
It's so like a little brother thing, like, fine then. It just goes like, should be easy. And like, Dean's not even listening to him, like not even helping him make a plan. Like, he is fully in his own head about this Bobby thing. He's just like, yeah, it sounds easy. So he does eventually, Dean does say like, well, go get the sheriff to help you, but you've got to convince her. When Sam says like, how? He's like, I don't know. I got Bobby thing to deal with. Like, why am I making your plans for you? It's pretty funny.
mm-hmm.
Oh God, I hate this. Oh, I hate this so much. It's so creepy.
Yeah.
Why always creepy zombie children? Why? Every zombie movie. Walking Dead, Dawn of the Dead.
I mean, even the Croatoan episode.
Yeah.
Are these croats?
Nah.
They act like them.
True. But the Croatoan is a I don't know anymore. It's a Lucifer thing. I feel like the Croatoan thing is a Lucifer thing, where this is a death thing.
Yeah, I guess
but,
so.
It could be. So we go to Sheriff Mills's house. Her son is sick. He's got like a really high temperature and complaining that he's hungry. Like the face I made. So she's like, I'm gonna go make you some soup. And I thought, he's not hungry for soup.
He's hungry for blood.
So they run. These again, their parents, like, they've rationalized this because they're ringing a doctor and they're asking like about high temperature for their undead son. And like later on, like Jodie's trying to explain it to the doctor, like, well, I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know, he's back from the dead, eh? So they're there. They both walk into the kitchen, like Jodie and her husband, and they're fixing soup and talking to the doctor. And we cut back to the salvage yard, and we see Dean with a shotgun walking towards Bobby's house. So I don't think he's planning to like shoot Karen unless she does something. I think he's planning to like burst in at the last moment. So he's almost like got an excuse to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And Bobby clearly knows that one of them's outside because he's asking Karen to like stay away from the windows. Like, he knows them.
Yeah, exactly.
But she doesn't answer him, so he goes to find her, and she's like collapsed on the floor. So is also clearly sick in the same way that Jodie Mills' son is sick, because she's burnt like really hot, and she says she feels dizzy and hungry. Like, she says, I need something to eat and I'll be fine. Back at the sheriff's house, Jodie's on the phone to the doctor, and she realizes that like she hasn't seen her husband in a bit. So oh, I hate this so much. So she goes to find him. There's this thing that they do in zombie movies where they like to show that someone's being eaten. They like show a body part, like a foot or a hand, like sort of like doing that twitchy thing.
Yeah.
No, that's not for me. I don't like it. It's horrible. So yeah, her son is eating her husband, and he turns around, and this little kid acting. I just had to think about this. Like, it was so cute.
It was. Yeah. He probably didn't say anything because he couldn't get it across, really. The thing that got me is that when there's like a wide shot and you see both of them together, you can see like what looks like a link of sausages in his hand. I was just like, oh.
Why is it always why?
Like, shouldn't that be like the worst part to eat?
Surely.
Like, your intestines has all the nastiness going on.
Why?
But then again, it's the most visceral looking, right? Because it just goes on.
Yeah,
and on.
it's like I think it's like probably one of the easiest things to like do special effects for too, as well.
Yeah, exactly. You just go to, like I said, go to local butcher and get some sausages.
Right, exactly. Because where does the trope come from that like zombies eat brains? Because like I don't remember any zombie movie that I've ever watched where they actually like go for the brain when they're trying to eat people, like first.
Yeah. I mean, it's usually you have to shoot them in the head.
Yeah, you shoot the zombies in the head, so that makes sense. But they're like, the zombies are all like brains, but they're not, are they? They don't ever eat brains. They always go for the tummy. No. The soft under tummy.
It just reminds me of Shaun of the Dead, when Dylan Moran's character gets pulled out the window.
But it's funny because it's like Dylan Moran, so he's like still being like a plonker while he's like, he's somehow getting torn apart in a middle class way. Like I don't.
Yeah. That's like the best description.
Oh man, I haven't watched Shaun of the Dead in ages. So Jodie's having a bad day. She manages to get out of her house as her zombie son is like lurching towards her. Luckily Sam's there, and oh no, wait, Sam gets her out of the house. That's right. He goes in and is like, go, go, go. And she's obviously shouting like, my husband. And it's good for Jodie that she's immediately like disassociates the zombie from her son. Because she's like, that's not my son. I think that will be helpful for her in the long run. And Sam tries to get her into like action mode.
Listen, Sheriff, your town is in danger. People are in danger and we need to help them now.
Jodie just asks like, well, how do we put them down? It's like, headshot. Come on, they're zombies, man. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, they agree between them that they're going to need weapons. I like that Sam asked like, "Where's a safe place?" And like she's just like, "Jail." Like I know she's in shock, but it's quite good. Like it's this one word answers.
What gets me is that jail is not safe. I mean, just look at what happened to. What was his name? The FBI agent. Why can't I remember?
Oh.
He was amazing. And Lilith killed him. Hendrickson.
Yes. Yeah.
Look at Hendrickson. They all died in the police station.
Jail's not safe. Sam does the kind thing. And I think this is probably one of the reasons why they remain friends, is that Sam goes into her house and deals with the situation for her. And, like, it's tough. Like, it goes back to Jodie's face when she hears the gunshot. But at least he did that for her. You know? Yeah.
I can't imagine that was very easy for Sam either, because, I mean, he's kind of come out of his, you know, monsters can be reasoned with. Also, he's not a reasoned with monster, right?
Yeah.
The child. He's killed somebody, so that kind of is easier for them, but still, it's not often that they kill children, which is a great thing. Absolutely great thing.
What a sentence. But yeah, they don't often deal with and even when they do, it's like ghosts. So it's almost, that's impersonal, right? Because you're like burning something else and then the ghost disappears. Yeah. So we cut back to Bobby's house and Karen is really sick now. She's lying in bed and she knows that it's happening, like she's turning. She has the presence of mind to say it. And Bobby's still not having it. But she's trying to convince him. And she wants Bobby to shoot her before she turns and tries to eat him. She's also trying to protect him again in that way. And to try and convince him, she tells him that she remembers being possessed, Bobby shooting her. Bobby says like that's what, that's why I can't do it again. Like, I had to go through it once, like I can't do it again. I was waiting for Karen to like say like something like I forgive you for that or something, and then she doesn't. But then also like she's not entitled to forgive him, I guess. Like I don't know. It was I kind of wish there had been a resolution for Bobby in that, but there wasn't.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part of this. Like, this story is very self-contained, right? In a way that's not satisfying. Yeah. And maybe that's just part of Supernatural. Like, sometimes you don't win, like you win, but you don't.
Yeah. So.
And it's just like we see it all the time, really, actually.
And
that they can win, but they lose a lot in the process of winning.
And I feel like it's almost better this way that he doesn't get a resolution from this, like storytelling wise, not for Bobby, in that this was all really meaningless, right? Like,
yeah,
and
yep,
like, yeah, it is. Like, it's a bad thing that happened, and you're right. That's what some of the message of Supernatural. Like, sometimes like bad things are just happen, and there is no reason for them, which is really terrible for a TV show. I need hope. Look, the world's bad enough. Can we now have like a little bit of ray of sunshine? Give me my soft endings, soft endings. So.
Yeah, I guess they get the horror, right? The horror movie ending.
And that's what Cricky would say, right? What are you expecting? Supernatural is a horror movie, right? Why are you expecting a soft ending? Karen then says that when she was brought back, she saw a man who we now clearly know is Death, because she's like, he was really like a really tall, thin man. It's like, yeah, that's Death. And he gave her a message to give to Bobby, which we don't find out now. It kind of like it cuts away before she can say what it is. Bobby does ask, like, why didn't you tell me this before?
You've seen so much. I just wanted to see a smile.
And once you find out what the message is, you're like, yeah, I can see why you didn't tell him.
Yeah. So I think also, had he heard the message straight away, he probably would have
shot her. Yeah,
killed her.
I think so too.
Right away. Yeah. Though what she said earlier is actually coming like he's my husband. I bring him peace, not pain. Her telling him the truth brought the peace, because if he tried to kill her without that, it would have just all been
pain. Yeah.
Pain.
Yeah. So we see Dean like bust in, but as he does so,
he doesn't. He like lockpicks to get in.
What
makes me laugh so much about this is like, I'm not gonna get seen. He is not quiet at all.
And like you can see him where as he's doing it, thinking, making a lot of noise. I feel like on his face you can see that it's not his best work. Yeah, you're right. He does really badly like break into the house. But Dean hears the gunshot before he can make it to Bobby, and then he just sort of sees him through the door that Bobby shot Karen. Yeah, it's dark, man. Dark days.
It is, and I hate to nitpick this, but I'm going to. The way that, I mean, I'm not any kind of criminal investigator or anything like that, but it looks like he shot her from the opposite side so that you would see the blood on the pillow. And I was just like, that's such a weird thing to do.
It's not like, yeah, forensically the blood splatter is weird. Like, you're right.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I was just like,
Showing it
what?
to the camera, but like, they should have just had it the other way around. I know exactly what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Back at the police station, the sheriff is arming like a bunch of people, and Sam's giving them the talk of like, if I hand you a gun and you see a dead person, I don't care if it's your friend, your neighbor, or your wife, you shoot for the head. That's the only way we survive. Like, he's really like on his soapbox, leader hat on. And then the man, there's a guy who's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm a friend of Bobby Singer's. And it's just like, you're a friend of the town drunk? He's like, no. Like, I thought, and that Digger's there, he's like, I thought Digger was the town drunk. And then when they say, like, who told you that? He's like, Bobby Singer. I don't know why it's just such a funny exchange. It was so stupid. Like, in the middle of this, like, shoot the zombies. They're, like, discussing Sam's authority, I guess. But quite funny.
And again, we're seeing Sam be a leader. Yeah. He, like, his character development starts all the way back here.
Well,
where is that at the very end?
He was literally born to be a leader, like, you know, because of the whole, like, vessel thing.
Yes. Yes. Maybe that's why at the end.
No, I maintain that it's a better character arc if he uses that power for good. And it's more of a Sam character arc that he uses that power for good.
Yeah.
Because that's like his whole flipping story arc of his demonic powers. Like, I'm trying to be good, I'm trying to be good, I'm trying to be good. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's like, I should stop trying to be good and just settle down with my dog and my plain spaghetti. We'll get to spaghetti. Oh, travesty. So back at Bobby's in the salvage yard, Dean and Bobby are by Bobby's van, and Dean does offer him to sit this one out, and Bobby's just like, no, let's just do it. Like, come on, just go.
Yeah. He's very resigned. Like, this is my life. Yeah. Like, this is not the last one. This is not the first and not the last time I have to deal with this.
Exactly. Rubbish. And like in an emotionally compromised situation too. Like, just get on with the job.
Mm-hmm. They
hear something, but we don't see anything yet. But we go back to the police station, and there's like weirdly like nothing happening. They're like looking outside, like, where's all the zombies?
Mm-hmm.
And then back at the salvage yard, we see like Dean start to walk away from the van because he's heard that noise, and Bobby shouts at him and fires at a zombie, which then like gets Dean on there's a whole zombies coming to get them kind of thing. It's showing that the zombies are going for Bobby's house, not the police station.
Exactly. Yeah. Is it Clay that's after him the first time? I feel like it was.
It looked like generic white zombie to me.
Probably was. So we're in the salvage yard, and Dean is fighting with a zombie, and he gets disarmed, and his like gun is off, and he's trying to reach for it. It's cutting back and forth between Bobby and Dean, and Bobby is an amazing shot, as he should be, because he's like one. What was the line from Mad Max? Like, one bullet, one head, or something like that. Which is basically a one bullet, one death, or something along those lines. That's exactly what he's doing, which I kind of love for Bobby. Like, he's so competent that he's like being able to pick out all of these zombies, whereas like Dean is flailing around on the ground like, help me.
And to think as well, these are all people that Bobby like definitely knows.
Yeah.
Or knew.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, knew for sure.
Say though, did this whole fight scene like feel weird to you, like weirdly paced?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like they ran out of time, but also had too much time. And I didn't count, but I was thinking, this feels more than 20 people.
I thought that too. It felt more than 20 people.
And it should be. I mean, it definitely should be less than. It should be at least maximum 17. If there was 20 and there's already 3 gone. But I'm like, this feels like a lot more than. And maybe there were. Maybe Death was still actually hanging around and he was just pulling people out and throwing it. But I mean, we don't know that. I'm trying to cover for the direction, writing. I don't know. So Dean manages to get his gun, shoot the zombie that was attacking him, and Dean comes back. Luckily, he doesn't get shot by Bobby because, I mean, there's no real indication. I mean, I guess he comes from another place. He's not really in front of him. He's kind of like approaches from the side. Bobby is like fallen to the ground. So Dean helps him back into his chair. And they run back into the house versus getting into the van because I guess it's faster. I love the fact. So Dean asks if there's any ammo.
Yeah, we got plenty. Just run back past the zombies. It's in the van where we left it.
A simple no would have been fine.
It's like, you're never going to get a straight answer from Bobby. So maybe this is the thing that tips him off. Because if you think about the way he was explaining the situation when he was lying to them, it was very short answers. Whereas here, like, he doesn't give a short answer.
No, well, yeah, you're right, actually. But Bobby is always sarcastic, and he was not sarcastic very much with them when they came to ask first of all.
Exactly. So the zombies start like breaking windows and everything, and they're now completely out of ammo. They run into a closet, and like Dean says, "It's all right. They're idiots. They can't pick a lock." And then like suddenly the lock is starting to be picked. This whole thing. This is where I was like, this feels like something out of Ash versus the Dead, Evil Dead. Like, this isn't supernatural.
No. And like, I also like beg the question, like, why didn't they just run for the panic room? Like, I felt it the whole time. I was like,
yeah,
I know it's down some stairs, so it would have been difficult to get Bobby and his chair down there quickly. But like, just bump him.
But Bobby is always prepared. Yeah. So I'm wondering if, I mean, I don't think Bobby would really like it, but I'm wondering if Bobby has a wheelchair like down there. So Dean could have picked him up and like ran down the stairs.
Come on, firemen lift that old guy. Do it.
Exactly. And so before we were recording, you had actually mentioned something before they were running into the house, the way that they were shooting their guns.
I don't know why, but as they're like going down the side of the van and back to Bobby's house, like Dean is shooting from their hip with a shotgun, which he never does. Like, he always holds it up like properly. They always hold their guns pretty like correctly, I feel.
Yeah.
Whereas this is not, and he's still getting off like headshots with this, and it's really weird, and it just feels like a reference to something, and I don't know what. Like the whole shooting that way, I don't know.
That style, yeah. And it makes sense as to why they would shoot properly, because they've been trained with guns since they were very small. So there's no reason for them to be like, the way that the when you're explaining it just now, the way they're using the guns is the same way that like you see in action movies. Like, it looks cool, but functionally is dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb. Like, you can't keep hold of a shotgun like that. Like, the recoil is too great. That's why you put it up on your shoulder, right? So
the first time I noticed that was for, and I'm wondering if it was back to the director's direction, because when he shoots a zombie when he's on the ground, the way that he like does the action is so like exaggerated. I know I just did it and nobody can see it, but like, it's, you know, usually when they do the recoil for them, it's very small. Like, they do the action, but this was like a full like quarter circle arc of a, and it was when I saw it, I was like, that's kind of weird.
It's just, I was like, what are you doing, Dean? Like, I'm sure they never do this. Like, for it to stand out, you know that it was weird, right? Because they shoot so many guns in this show. Like, for it to stand out, it was weird. This whole section is just a bit odd. Like, what's going on with the shooting? Like, why were they not trying to go to the panic room? Like, I get the zombies did break in fairly quickly through the windows, but like not that quickly. Like Bobby knows the layout of his own house,
Yeah.
but they were like running towards a closet, like, right?
Yeah, like what were they going to find there? Like, what were they expecting to happen?
Yeah.
Were they just going to get bored? Like, no, eventually they would break down the door. There's enough of them.
They just wait for Sam to come and get them, like, realize. That's literally, like, Dean's whole plan here is like, oh, well, someone will come.
Yeah. Damsel in distress it.
And where's Bobby's all, like, are you telling me Bobby Singer, I know he's having an emotional day, but you're telling me that the Bobby Singer, like, doesn't have a, like, zombie plan in his house of, like, go this way?
He probably did before Karen arrived, because Karen cleaned the house.
Yeah.
Like, she has not slept for a week, so she has tidied everything. So all of his, like, secret boxes and things
are tidied.
Probably aren't where they're supposed to be.
That's true. Fine.
Yeah. So anyway, back to where they're in the closet right now. And the zombies are starting to lockpick it.
Don't you ever get tired of being wrong? I'm making this stuff up as I go. Sue me.
That is such a good line. No, that's such a good line. The free will bull. I don't know. I liked it. It stood out to me as a free will line.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm just making this up as I go. That's right, Dee. Yeah, you are. Sorry, I was just proud of my boy for a second there.
The closet door gets thrown open and Sam is there to save the day. He yells, "Get down!" I mean, where is Bobby gonna go? And he and Sheriff Mills start shooting the zombies.
Did you notice the camera blood splatter?
I did not.
So when they are shooting the zombies, there's loads of blood and stuff. They actually do a blood splatter that hits the camera lens.
Huh. That's kind of cool.
And they kept it in. I mean, it was, again, it's one of those choices that they made in this episode that felt weird to me. Like, it really, like, broke the fourth wall for a second. Yeah.
No, I didn't get that. What did stand out to me was how perfect those shots were from the sheriff and Sam. Like, I know that it's kind of almost like shooting fish in a barrel because they were all there, but at the same time, it was very...
Like, the closet door was open, so, like, Bobby and Dean were, like, there, so... For them not to get hurt
right there.
was, miraculous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, like, if you can go back and watch it, the blood splatter is it's on, like, the left corner of the screen. It's big, and, like, I was really surprised they did it. And it's Sam, so he shoots almost, like, towards the camera. That's why you get, like, that one happen.
Yeah, I mean, they do that style of shot, but they never have the blood actually interact with the audience. Yeah. Like, I think of Abandon All Hope, where Sam stabs I know it's not shooting, but he does stab the demon, and in the exact same way as how he shot. Interesting.
Again, like, is this a call back to a zombie movie? Maybe I should just watch Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Maybe it's that one.
Yeah.
So, Sam does ask, are you okay? Once they finish, like, killing all these zombies. And they're like, I'm here. So, they managed to, like, get all the zombies. And they're having a big hunter's funeral for them, like, on a pyre in the cemetery. I guess to ensure they don't come back. I guess that they're doing as much as they can to ensure they don't come back, because...
Do you think their souls are there? Or is it just their
If
bodies?
only there had been someone we could have called to tell us if they had souls.
Jeremy Carver, these are the details we need to know.
Are there souls there? I mean, maybe that's why, like, they're almost stuck in those kind of, like, loops. Like, maybe they didn't have souls, or, like, partial souls. It was, you know... I don't know. But
Karen was so aware, like, more aware than everybody else. Like, everybody else seemed to have had gotten back into some sort of normal routine. Like, why? I mean, maybe that's the reason why Clay was able to hear Sam and Dee. I mean, they're not very good at breaking in, but hear them breaking in because he wasn't asleep.
He also quite remorselessly murdered. I know the guy killed him, but he also, like, did it without too much issue. So maybe they did come back soulless.
Maybe.
Good point. Like, we'll never know. So yeah, Dean and like Jodie joined Sam in front of this funeral pyre, and Sam's asking like, well, how's the town? And Jodie's like, well, they're freaked out, like traumatized. Some of them are trying to call the media, but no one believes them. And Sam's like, well, would you? And she's like, no. He asks, how are you holding up? But it doesn't get an answer this episode. Dean asks, is that everybody? And Sam says, all but one. And then we cut to Bobby, and he's having like his own private moment with Karen. And it's clearly like a bit later on because Sam and Dean are there also, and they've helped him. Mm-hmm. Bobby, he doesn't apologize, but he says, I'm thinking maybe I should apologize, which is good enough. For losing his cool with them. And Sam says, like, you don't owe us anything. He understands. Dean says, hey, look, I don't know squat from Shinola about love, which I have no idea what that saying means. He says, but at least you got to spend 5 days with her, right? And Bobby's like, that actually like makes things 1,000 times worse.
She was the love of my life. How many times do I gotta kill her?
Nope.
Yeah. I'm kind of sad that this is like I'm thinking back to the last episode, right? 1520. And we see Bobby in heaven. Karen is not mentioned.
True. This was a big deal, yeah.
Like John and Mary get to live happily ever after, but like he doesn't say anything like, oh, go come back and my, Karen and I will have dinner with you or something like that. But nope. She is just forgotten. It's
almost like if you do those kinds of episodes, like something's always going to get like forgotten like that, It's just... So Sam asks, are you going to be okay? And Bobby doesn't answer, just like Jodie didn't answer. So the answer is no, right? And then Bobby explains what Karen told him about death, what he said to her. And essentially, death came for Bobby to send a message to stop helping Sam and Dean. And because he's one of the main reasons that Sam isn't saying yes to Lucifer.
This was another thing that was really bizarre for Supernatural. Whenever there's a message, they usually quote it exactly how the person said it. But in this instance, like, he doesn't actually say exactly what the message is. It's just sort of like the message was that death sent her. Is that, and then he just like came up with a theory as to why, or did he say that was the reason why? I don't like it.
Yeah, because it isn't like blackmail. It kind of is though. It's like, oh, stop helping them, or this is the kind of thing that will make you go through, again, I guess. Well, this is the kind of stuff we can do to you if you don't stop helping them. I don't know. But
like, what are they going to do next? Are they going to keep bringing them back? Can they? I mean, clearly they can, because maybe that's the implication, that she was cremated and yet I can bring her back. So you burning her again is not actually going to do anything because I can just bring her back again. And we can just play this game over and over. But we don't see that happen because Bobby continues to help them and he doesn't have an experience like this again.
Yeah. I think it was more... So Dean just says, like, this is the hit, like, put a hit out on you. So it was kind of like they expected Karen to kill Bobby. So he'd be off the board. And then if he did... It's like if she didn't kill him, he would have to kill her, which would, like, emotionally damage him so much that he was no longer able to help them. What hasn't taken into account is, like, Bobby's resilience, I think.
True.
So they clearly don't understand Bobby as deeply as they think they do, like the bad guys. Because, I mean, Bobby even says that he's like, I don't know if they want to take my life or my spirit. And I think it was one or the other. So, like, you know, one way or the other. But they wanted him out of the way. And then Sam asks for the final line in this episode, but you're going to be all right, Bobby. And he just doesn't answer. Like, he just makes a sad face, essentially, as the camera zooms out.
Yeah.
So, like, no, Bobby's not all right. I can't remember how well this plays into these last few episodes. I mean, I say last few, there's quite a few episodes left, of this season. But I feel like this does take, like, I would say, like, D10 psychic damage on Bobby. Like, it's tough, right?
Yeah, I mean, Bobby has been through the ring. Bobby has been through the ringer. I don't know that Bobby Singer ringer. Anyway, because he's lost the ability to walk, and that already put him in a downward spiral. We saw that in A Curious Case of Dean Winchester. Got hit, like, you know, that got him really desperate for any, like, kind of cure. And then we see this where his emotion, like, his body's broken, and now they're trying to break his spirit.
Yeah.
With this. But like Dean, which is probably where Dean gets it from, I think that just pushes him in the other direction. So if anything, it would make him want to help them more. Like, because now he has no purpose.
Yeah, and like, they're all just, like, defiant, right? Like,
yeah, they're all
screw
stubborn.
your authority, like, honestly. Yeah. I guess it's kind of a way to show off the power of the bad guys that they're fighting against this season, that they can bring people back from the dead for essentially just to, like, send a message. Like, it wasn't even, like, a big deal. Right?
Yeah.
So that's another thing. It's also like a show of power to Bobby and Sam and Dean.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, like, well, we've seen the Heaven's power because they brought Dean back, but Heaven's not on their side.
Yeah. But you're right. What we said at the beginning, though, also, this feels like a filler episode, and it should be a really important episode.
Is it, though? Like, do you think it should be an important episode?
It's essentially an introduction to, like, death, knowing that death was risen successfully, like, summoned successfully, and also, like, the kind of power that he wields, you know, that he was able to bring back people who had even been cremated, where we know that salting and burning should stop that from happening. So he's kind of defying the laws of supernatural. I mean, maybe when it aired, this was a bigger deal, but I don't know why. It's just the way it's structured feels like a filler episode.
It also it depends on how you define this filler episode, because this is kind of like a character defining moment almost for Bobby. And do you consider Bobby's storyline plot?
Yeah, I do. I think I do, though. But it is I guess, like a B plot storyline. But then this is the way that Supernatural handles their characters, though, is that every character who's not Sam and Dean, all of their plot lines are B-line plots. That even goes to, like, Cass, Crowley, like, later on. They're not main plot material. Like, that's not how the show treats them.
That's true. Even Jack.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe watching Supernatural, we're conditioned that way. That's why it's like, oh, it's just like a B plot episode, but it's not. It should be really important. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say one more thing, completely not related to this episode, but kind of. Sam's hair is getting to that point where it's, like, really good Sam hair.
Like, peak Sam hair. Yeah, you're right. We haven't mentioned it for a while. I think, it's good this episode. Like, really highlighted by that really good head tilt that he did. Man, just, like, just go back and watch it. It's so funny. It's so funny. So well acted. Like,
I could feel, like, have you ever felt that feeling where your stomach just sort of drops because of something that you've done? Like, I think the only time I can really think about it the time that we went to London Comic Con and I'd forgotten the tickets.
Yeah.
Back in that feeling of like
Crap.
I instantly felt that with Sam with the way he looked up and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I think everyone's felt that feeling. Like, just the stomach drop. And I think it's just so much funnier because, like, Dean has zero reaction sat next to him. It's such a good, I don't know. Something about it is just so good.
Had Sam not reacted like that, maybe it wouldn't have been so bad because like Dean was probably like, keep it together, keep it together, keep it together. And Sam was like, I can't keep it together. We've been made. Like, I think back to, I guess it was in season 1. There's actually a lot of parallels between this episode and season 1. Like the horror element in this is actually like when Ezra Miller, this actor, Ezra Jones, attacks Sam. Like she's full on creepy looking. Like it's got that like horror movie feel that Kripke was going for, but you can actually see what's happening. Like if you put this back in season 1, none of it would have been seen. When I think season 1 and Sam is complaining about the fake ID that he has because it says Federal Booby Inspector or something like that on it.
It's Bikini Inspector, but Booby Inspector is so much better.
Because it's on a t-shirt. Federal Bikini Inspector. And like he's like saying, I can't use this, and freaks out. It's like it's all about confidence. So it has that same kind of feel from season 1. I guess it was season 1.
It does, yeah, you're right. Because they haven't been found out really before. And Sam's been getting more and more confident with it. Like he pulled out that card like, yeah, come on, ring our supervisor. Oh man, it's good. Yeah. The episode is worth it for that. And like the introduction of like Sheriff Jodie Mills, iconic. I'm so glad she comes back. And it's also just, I'm glad they brought her back, but it was such a strange character. Like out of all the characters to bring back and be almost like a main character. It was an interesting choice from all the episodes, but I'm really glad they made it.
It does, but also at the same time, because it is in Bobby's hometown, it would make sense that they would actually have interactions with her.
Yeah. And she's now someone who knows about the supernatural. So it kind of answers that question of like, why don't they just get law enforcement involved? Like, she answers that question from now on, really. Yeah, exactly. And because she becomes a very valuable resource as well. I tell you what it is. Jodie's hair is different. She has short hair when she comes back. She does.
She has long hair.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see when she comes back. I also love the fact that she becomes like a mother figure as well, because obviously she has Claire and her other daughter, which is not her daughter. I can't remember that story. Like that is really fuzzy to me. Like I don't remember who her other daughter is. But like how she just sort of collects the strays and actually keeps them safe.
Yeah, like is the Bobby singer that we wanted to see that actually took in the kids and trained them up and everything. Yeah. And also she mothers Sam and Dean as well, which I appreciate. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. Looking forward to her coming back now.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting through season 5. Like it's we're getting there. Like I can feel the end. It's coming. Yeah. And what is the next one?
The next one is Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh shoot! This is a good episode. Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah. So we're gonna see something. I think it's funny. It came out on April Fool's Day, which makes sense as to why this is this episode. Actually, I want to say, and this is someone who doesn't really know this season, like the end of the season, very well, but it does feel like it's the ramp up to less filler episodes, but this is Supernatural, so that means there will be at least one in a really stupid place.
At least one in a really stupid place. I'm sure of it. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there is.
I mean, there has to be.
Yeah, I'm excited for next episode. Very excited.
So, anything else you wanted to
No,
add?
I mean, I this episode, yeah.
It's just sad.
It's okay. Like, I wouldn't watch it again, but it does add to the season, so fine. Yeah, that's my final thought on it.
So sorry, I'm going to go back a little bit. So you were saying that it kind of shows the power that Death wields, but he's Death. So like, I feel like his power is pretty much limitless, right? Like, he controls Death, so of course he could bring people back if he wanted to.
I don't take that as a given though in Supernatural, because I feel like they know he could like kill a bunch of people, but I don't necessarily know he could like then bring a bunch of people back. It's Death.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
Okay.
All right.
I'll wrap this up then, shall I? Okay, so at the end of the episode, we would like to thank the Pixel Agora for his wonderful art for our show. If you'd like to pick that up, you can go on Redbubble and buy on a coffee cup. You can do that. That's a thing. If you'd like to come and talk to us or follow us anywhere, we're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr. We are Escaping Purgatory Podcast or Escaping Podcast on Twitter. And yeah, come say hi.
So this week we ate some pie made by a zombie. We got spat on by a zombie. And then we headshotted everybody. Hopefully next time we can make our way out.
Bye.